Welcome back to Catch Them Young. And I hope you really learned one or two things you put into practice from my last video. Today, we're going to continue our discussion on listening, which is one of the 4 language skills. Remember last week we talked about the skill of listening, the skill of speaking, the skill of reading, and the skill of writing. And I remember I told us that if a child can be a good listener, then that child can become a good speaker. And if a child can be a good reader, that child can become a good writer. Because these 4 language skills are what? Interwoven. Okay? So I also want to mention today that listening and reading are classified as receptive language skills, while speaking and writing are classified as expressive language skills. Every parent needs to understand that strong language skills are very essential for students' success in school and in life. Listening comprehension is very vital to language development. And I tried to establish this fact in my last video, where I was saying that to start off, talking about how you can help your child develop his language skills, you need to start from the skill of listening. The ability to teach a child how to listen. The ability for the child to be able to listen when you speak, starting from the home. And then the child will transfer this skill to the classroom. But if at home your child do not even listen to you, that child is going to have a problem listening to the teacher when the child gets to the school. Because it's the same thing. You can only learn when you are able to listen to someone else. You are able to listen to your parents, listen to people around you, listen to your teacher, and listen to your friends. That's how we learn. So listening is very vital to language development. So last week we talked about listening and how to teach your child to listen, especially from the home. Now we talked about eyes, watching. We talked about using the ears to listen. We talked about the voice being quiet when you're listening to a speaker. We talked about the body being calm in a listening process. Today, we want to share more tips that will help your child to develop his listening skills. Let's go. Tip number 1 today for helping your child to develop his listening skill is 1. The use of conversations. As a parent, you need to know the importance of having conversation with your child, even at that little age, because it helps him or her to develop his use of language. Alright, so I always advise parents, not to always abandon their kids with technology. I understand, the age and time in which we live. Many parents think that, once I can get my child on an iPad or get my child on on a tablet, my child is good to go. But I tell you, having a conversation with your child goes a long way to help your child to develop his or her language skill. Like, you can just come up with any topic of interest, okay? Something your child is interested in. It might be one of his TV shows, or one of the cartoons he watched, his favorite cartoon character, one of the books you have read with your child. You can talk about it. Ask your child questions. As you're asking your child question, your child is learning how to listen on purpose. When you ask a child question and your child is able to respond to that question appropriately, you can say that your child is developing his or her listening skill, and that is part of language skill. So that is how it works. Keep your child engaged in conversations. You might be cooking in the kitchen and your child ask, "Oh mommy, why are you using this?" Let that be a teachable moment for you. Or, "What is this?" Let that be a teachable moment. Don't always brush your child aside and just say, "Oh, go play with your iPad, go play with your tablet." No. When a child asks you a question, use that opportunity to expand knowledge for your child. Ask the child questions too. If the child says, "Mommy, what's that?" Ask the child, "What do you think it is?" Okay, and listen to the child, answer the question, see what his opinion is, and then from there you can correct his opinion and add to it and expand knowledge for your child. The second tip is read or tell stories to your child. This is what we call read aloud activity. Like, find time within the day. What works for you? It might be in the morning, it might be in the afternoon, it might be at night, like before bedtime. It might be bedtime stories you want to tell your child, or read his favorite book to him before he goes to sleep. As a parent, you should find 20 minutes in a day to read to your child. That you are helping your child to be a good listener. How would you know if your child is improving in his listening skill? You will know because by the time you're done reading, you're going to ask your child some questions. And if your child is able to provide appropriate answers to those questions, then you know that your child is improving in his reading skills. Now, for example, let's say you want to read this book. You're going to start by discussing some of the features of this book. Now, what do I mean by features of this book? The features of this book include the title of the book. You tell your child you're going to read the story titled "The Doorbell Rang," and you make your child to repeat it. What is the title of the story? The child is going to say, "The doorbell rang." Even if he doesn't say it as accurately as you, the adult, has said it, that is listening and speaking right there, hand in hand. Remember, I said if a child could be a good listener, the child can become a good speaker. Because as adults, we're always modeling language to the little ones. You also have to be a good language user. You have to model the right language to your child. So if your child says it right, okay. If you think he needs to say it again, you repeat it. Repetition is also one of the tools you need. When you're teaching a child, you can't be in a rush. You have to slow down. You have to repeat, and repeat for a child to be able to get what you're saying. All right? So you say it again, "The doorbell rang." And then you ask your child to repeat after you the title of the book. Now, after talking about the title of the book, you're going to tell your child that this part of a book is called the front cover. And then you say, "What did I say?" The child will repeat, "Front cover." You turn the book and you show your child the back of the book. And you say, "This part of the book is called what? The back cover." And then you ask the child to repeat after you, and the child will say, "The back cover." Now you turn the book this way and you touch this edge. This is called the spine of the book. And you're going to ask your child, what did I say? The child will say the spine. So that is listening and speaking going on hand in hand. But you have to find time to be able to do this. And then you open the pages and you tell the child that these are called the pages of a book. This is just like trying to introduce the book to your child. And then you take it from there, you read the first page, you flip it, you read, you keep flipping, but as you're reading, your child is listening, he's paying attention. Now, this is what we call listening on purpose. Now, when you're done reading, ask your child simple questions to test if your child was actually listening or not. Now, I forgot to mention earlier that making predictions is part of what we teach when you are teaching a child to read or to listen. Making predictions. You see, the book has a very colorful picture in front of it. So as you're talking about the front cover, before you go into the reading proper, you're supposed to ask the child to make predictions based on the pictures in front of the book to see if your child can make any connections. You know, you're gonna ask the child, looking at the picture, what do you see? That's a question. And when you're asking the question, the child was listening. Now, to know if his listening skill is improving or not, the answer he gives to you will prove to you if his listening skill is getting better or not. So it's a gradual process. I'm sure every little child, even a 3-year-old, should be able to tell you that he can see colors, different colors here. He can see little kids here, you know. And then I'm sure the child might even say, oh, maybe they're having a party, because you see a lot of kids, you know, clustered together. So this is one of the ways you can help your child to develop his listening skill. When you ask questions, what kind of answers do you get, feedback do you get from your child? So that shows if his listening skill is improving or not. When you're done reading, you should be able to ask your child simple questions from the book. Like, there will be names in a book. Those names are the names of characters in the book. You're supposed to ask your child who is in the story. It may be in the book, he talked about 3 characters and he can remember 1 or 2. That's a sign that he was listening while you were reading. Or maybe you want to talk about, you know, the setting of the story. So the third point I'm going to talk about today is engaging your child in meaningful experiences. What are meaningful experiences? Meaningful experiences are those experiences that impact the life of your child in a memorable way, like experiences that you plan and engage your child in, you know, that the memory lingers. You see children when they go to school, they're excited when they see their teacher, they want to share with their teacher, maybe about their birthday, maybe over the weekend it was your child's birthday. You know, that's an example of a meaningful experience. Or maybe over the weekend you hung out, your family had like an outing, maybe you went to the zoo, maybe you visited, you know, their grandma, or maybe you took them shopping, or maybe you went for an event, you know, maybe you visited a family friend who had an event, or you took them to the water park, or you took them to, you know, a very exciting place. I'm telling you, children don't forget such experiences. it keeps lingering in their memory, and they want to share with their friends. They want to talk to their teacher about it. Those experiences help to expand knowledge and language development in your child. Now, because when they have gone through such experiences that are memorable, they want to talk about it. And it also helps to develop their listening skill. Because if a child is able to have a conversation based on the meaningful experiences he or she has been exposed to, it shows the child was listening well while he was engaging in those experiences. The child was able to listen, he was able to pick one or two things, one or two words. When the child is able to describe what went on in those experiences, it is a good example of the fact that your child's language is developing. So these are things you can do with your child at home, to help him or her with language development, help him or her with listening. Very important. Don't leave your child only to technology. Make sure you engage your child, create time. I know parents are very busy, we're always working, but the foundation is very important. All right, the foundation is very important. You have to create time to help your child's foundation. If you help your child to build a very strong foundation, language foundation, your child will be successful in life and in school. Okay, let's talk about the use of technology. Now, earlier on, I did mention that parents shouldn't abandon their children, to technology. Like, technology has its place. Engaging your child in meaningful conversation has its place. Okay? So the use of tablets, the use of iPads, even CD players, all these various technologies, are good to develop children's listening skill. You can actually use them, but the thing is that we have to structure them. You can't leave your child solely to technology from morning to afternoon to evening. No, you need to mix up the activities, the experiences you allow your child to engage in on a daily basis. Okay, you can structure from this time to this time. Maybe you're having a conversation with your child, you're interacting with your child. You can structure reading into your day, with your child. You can also structure technology into your day with your child. But at the end of the day, you are trying to use these various means to help your child develop his or her listening skills. Like when your child is done watching something on the iPad, on the tablet, you should have a conversation about it. Maybe if it's a story he was listening to, you can ask him, what's your favorite part of the story. You can ask your child, tell me what happened in the story. You can ask your child, what are the names of the characters in the story. It might be the story of, maybe for example, like Three Little Pigs. It might be a story about human beings. Like, make every moment a teachable moment. Okay, don't just leave your child to be watching whatever they want to watch, and you're not a part of it. You need to observe what your children do with technology and use it as a teachable moment. Technology can help develop listening skills. Okay, so I'm not condemning technology, but we need to structure the use of technology. That way it will be more meaningful. Okay, I want to reiterate the 4 points I have shared with us today, and we're just going to leave it here. I like to keep it simple. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed, but if we can try to put into practice these little tips that we discuss in these videos, I tell you, you're gonna come up with very great results, because I've used them and they worked for me, and they're still working for me. And this is what I tell parents, helping your children to get their foundation right. You can't exchange it for money. There's nothing you can use to exchange for your involvement in the foundation of your child. Language development, like I said last week, starts from birth. But children need consistent, ongoing support. Consistent, ongoing support it could be every day, minutes in a day, hours in a day, name it. The point is that as parent, you have to create the time to be involved in the foundation of your child, especially when they are developing their language. So I'm gonna repeat, kind of summarize the 4 points we have shared today. The first thing I said is use conversations with your child. Engage your child in meaningful conversations. Read or tell stories to your child in a day, minimum 20 minutes. You read to your child in a day at least minimum of 20 minutes. Find a suitable time. Is either before the child goes to bed or during the day when you are helping your child with, apart from regular homework or schoolwork that your child gets from school, find or form the habit of reading to your child at least 20 minutes in a day. Now, engage your child in meaningful experiences. That's number 3 points that we shared today. Make sure you engage your child in meaningful life experiences. That helps a lot. Okay? And finally, we talked about the use of technology. Use technology, but have it structured. All right. So don't leave them to be on technology from morning, as that's your way of escape. Oh, just go play with your tablet so I can have my peace. No, that is the abuse of technology when it comes to language development. So let's engage them in technology, take them away from technology, engage them in other things, that can help them to develop their language. So I want us to keep this conversation going. If you have experiences you want to share, please, I want you to leave it in the comment section. I want you to share your thoughts with me. Leave your comments. If you enjoy the video, you can ask me questions like the kind of videos you want me to make, for the future, what you really want. You can put in the comment section. I will look at it and I will work on it. So hopefully this video helped 1 or 2 persons. Okay, and I will see you in my next video.